Hi, everybody. Welcome to All on the Table Side Quests. This is the first side quest of Season 2. So, those of you who don't know what's going on, we are every fifth Saturday, every time there's a fifth Saturday, we result in having an extra week. We don't normally fill that in with an existing game because those are all preset. So we have a side quest. In this case, we're playing Vigilantes Union Origins. Vigilantes Union Origins is in the same universe as the upcoming YouTube only show Vigilantes Union 13, Local 13. And we'll have that released here in the next probably 2 weeks. And you'll get to see that within that midweek of May. And you'll get to have some introduction to the world after World War II. That's kind of where a lot of superhero shows and stories separate themselves, partly due to when the comics originally were released and partly due to the fact that World War II is kind of mythological in some ways, in the way experimentations and super science and all this other stuff was going on. Like even Indiana Jones uses it. Take this thread that, the Germans, the Nazis, were out pulling threads to find old mythic items. And all of a sudden you've got Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It takes place in the 30s, but it fits that same mythological theme. So that's where we're going for, is kind of this starting point of where superheroes originate in the Vigilantes Union universe. Welcome, everybody, once again. I'm joined today by 4 wonderful players, 3 of whom are also cast members on the Vigilantes Union Local 13. So you'll get to see more of them as we go. And we're going to start with introductions. And Molly.
Hi, my name is Molly. I use she, her pronouns. Today I'm going to be playing Charlie. Charlie uses he, him pronouns. A gentleman who has a little wrinkle in his smile every time, right here on his chin.
Howdy, I'm Nobody. Today I'm going to be playing the role of Carson Ames, a relic of an Old West that never really existed. He uses he, him, and he's here because he's got some stuff in his past.
Hi, everybody. Ben Ravensdale. I'm going to be playing Roger Flynn, aka Mr. Booms. Roger is a fairly high society type that has joined the war effort because he thought it would be a grand old adventure, and has learned quite to the contrary. Oh, he, him pronouns, by the way. Sorry.
Hi everyone, I'm Dana Breedy and I use she, her pronouns. Today I'm going to be playing Yvette Mapon, and she is also known as the Witch, although I cannot imagine why they call her this. Anyway, she is the leader of this little ragtag group.
Welcome. Again, thank you all for joining us. As a team, we will be starting at just one of their missions. We're not going to see a lot of their story, just this one little glimpse into it today. And in case you missed it, I am Jen Giggles. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm going to be your storyteller today because we're using the Adventure system. Adventure is a White Wolf publication from 2001, and storyteller is the term they use for game master. So let's start and get moving. And now we have the old-timey camera reels and film flickering as we cut to a briefing room in Washington, D.C. It is late 1942. And the leader of your unit within the OSS walks in. Colonel James Trunkworth. So Colonel James Trunkworth comes in, and most of the room stands and salutes. Whether you do or don't is up to your character.
Yeah, Roger. Roger will stand and give a. It's a very lazy salute, but it's a salute nonetheless.
So kind of
Kind of
Hawkeye
a
Pierce.
yeah, like a type of jaunty, flippant, not quite disrespectful.
Charlie will stand up, and Charlie's arm will obviously bump something off the table. There's a large bicep driving the files in front of him out of the way, clumsily bringing his hand to his head, leaving himself with quite a bonk over this eye. Colonel Trunksworth, how you doing?
Good, Charlie. Have a seat. Now, okay,
Yes, Charlie.
Vigilantes. And yes, Colonel Trunksworth has named his unit the Vigilantes. Okay, Vigilantes, we've been handed 3 missions. Able Squad. Major Smith will brief you on the flight to Baghdad. You are joining the army in North Africa. 4 members of your unit stand up and walk out. Baker Squad. Major Anderson will lead you as you are heading to Burma. More details once you are on the ground there. Baker Squad. They all head out with minor grumbles about mosquitoes and jungle cats. I mean, it's Myanmar, as we now, as the country is now known.
Charlie will just say, "Oh, don't worry. It's beautiful this time of year. You're gonna love Myanmar. It's just Burma. It's just a wonderful place. Just enjoy the crab rangoon."
And Colonel Trunkworth turns to you and says, "Charlie Squad, you are being airdropped into Italy for an assault on the Italian Alps. Intelligence has reported that the fascist assholes are building a massive mess of technology that the brass says needs to be destroyed before we can liberate the continent. As you are the ones best equipped to hit the target hard, that falls to you. If you succeed, your extraction point will be in southern France. Sergeant, that's on you to get them through. You know the languages in the countryside better than they do. Please take care of them.
But of course, mon colonel.
And don't look for backup. The 5 of you are alone. Your Major Johnson will join you on the plane.
Of course, we will see it done. Gentlemen?
And you all hop onto you guys head out of the briefing, you pack a few bags because you got to go to England first. So you fly over to England, spend a couple of days. You're joined by Major Johnson there, or Anderson there, I should say. Now, unlike Major Johnson, Major Anderson, he's from Minnesota too. Because, that's exactly what you'd expect, right?
Uh-huh.
He's giving you the full brief down. Okay, folks. So what we got happening right now is there is a facility building some specialized tanks that are faster and more powerful than even the Panzer divisions that the Germans were using. So we have to get in there and destroy all the paperwork and the existing technology to try and prevent it from being used again later. If necessary, our goal is to drop the entire mountain down on top of the facility. Anything less than that is considered a failure. Okay. And that night you board the plane. You're on board a B-24 bomber. B-24s are fairly new on the line in late 1942. It's a brand new top of the line bombing equipment. And you're snug into the back along with a full payload. The planes are all heading towards Naples. There's a massive, massive operation going. So the bombing is happening. You're on board. A little bit before it reaches the plane reaches its normal target, you guys jump out. And as you float down, you get to see explosions in the distance. Unfortunately, you have no control over what happens next.
I will note, if I may, that Yvette is not wearing a parachute.
That's fine.
And Charlie will guide the other people to jump out first because after he leaves, he's so built that the plane will just lift directly up, and you don't want that head injury. So
The major
get out
pushes
on
you
first.
out first.
and everyone gets lurched into the air as his body weight just sends everyone catapulting.
The major kicks you out first and then jumps out right after you. Unfortunately, as I said, you have no control over what happens next. The plane is shot down. The fighters, the bombs, if you've ever seen any World War II movie about the bombing runs, how massive those battles are, you're jumping out in the middle of an air battle. The major doesn't make it. You find his body is still attached to its parachute on the ground. You don't see any other chutes coming from that came out of the plane. Didn't look like any of the other pilots, the pilots or gunners, made it out either. You've lost a little bit of equipment. I mean, the major was carrying some, and it's riddled with holes. But you have enough to make it to where you're going. You've got your helmets. You've got your flak jackets.
I will take the dog tags from the major and anything that's important to the mission that's salvageable.
Yep.
But otherwise, there's nothing we can do for him now.
All right.
It's a hell of a way to go, but at least he tried.
The major had been with you for, 3 or 4 of missions. You'd worked with the other companies and the other majors multiple times. So you knew the man. Now he's gone. But you have a mission. What are you going to do to get to the Alps? If you know Italy, you know where Naples is approximately. So in this case, you jumped out early, and what you'll be looking for, because with Naples being where it is, you were jumping out probably closer to Florence, but by bombing run, that's 10 minutes, 15 minutes worth of flight. So you're heading north through the Italian countryside. What are you doing to get north?
We should acquire a car, no?
Okay.
Horses, whatever we can find.
Why limit ourselves to terrestrial vehicles? I mean, they got boats. Get something with some style. Cruise up the coast.
As much as I do love style as much as the next person, but I really think that it's important here that we keep a low profile. And so what you might think, I believe the word for it in high society is underspoken. Not overspoken, underspoken. It's like Hoboken.
I think the word you're looking for is understated, but
there you go.
I get the general vibe that you're going for. So, no limousines then.
Limited. If we're going limousine, it's got to be not glossy paint.
As far as I see it, I'll take whatever we can find.
Let's
Might as well just take a donkey and a cart. But okay, all right, that's fine.
So Yvette just
See what we
walked
can find.
over or walks out to a street. Are we anywhere near a city or town?
No, you are out in the olive fields.
Okay.
Are we north of Naples?
So we're like north of Rome, or we're like between Rome and Naples.
You're somewhere between Florence and Bologna, which is north of Rome, because Naples is south
I see.
of Rome.
I thought we were much further south. Okay.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys jumped out like 10, 15 minutes beforehand, but the battle is already raging. The plane has been blown up and crashed. Like the air battles were like that the moment you crossed into they've been fighting. There's been constant fighting against things since you left England almost.
So it strikes me. Could we get up? Could I just haul myself up a tree and see if there's any houses or settlements nearby where we might commandeer a vehicle?
Well, let's have a survival check. That'll be under intelligence,
Oh,
and
this is
that'll
going to
come
go real
from
well.
that's actually come from Carson, who's best at it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's unfamiliar
that-
territory, but it's still territory.
While he's doing that, I basically walked out to the closest thing I could find to a main road and basically stuck out a leg and am hoping a gentleman pulls over.
Not a bad plan. Not a bad plan. All right.
All right.
And that's 6 successes. You actually do find a fairly large truck parked between the rows, kind of left there, but a full tank of gas. You're not sure why it has a full tank of gas, if it's been abandoned in the rows, but whatever. So while your leg is out, Yvette, Carson rolls up in a truck.
All right. Well, we
She's
will
the
do.
prettiest thing in the world, but she'll serve.
All right.
Well, considering how I'm planning to treat this thing, it's probably best that it's not too pretty. Move over.
Maybe we should acquire some less conspicuous garments for travel here.
I can't imagine
But
that Yvette would have let us leave dressed in uniform.
Yeah.
Like we got the brown shirts.
You've got your flak jackets and your helmets, but you don't have uniforms on.
okay.
No.
I just want to explicitly state Carson is not wearing a helmet. It's definitely a cowboy hat.
That's fine.
Yvette is definitely wearing heels, and they're chunky heels, but they're heels.
Yvette, I admire your practicality as we have plummeted from the sky. Would you mind giving me a couple words in Italian so that I might integrate myself with the populace better?
Oh, my mon ami. No.
My
friend, no. Your accent is not very Italian, I'm afraid.
Okay.
And she'll just start speaking in Italian, just rattling off several things, but your accent, she will not pass. No, sorry.
And he's just like writing down nonsense in this book as the car kind of as the truck rattles along the Italian, but I assume are bombed out roads.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, northern Italy was spared a lot of the bombing because the manufacturing was heavier south of Rome. So, and with the North African campaign still underway, things have not, and there's been no yet bombing runs coming out of that part of the world. So, all right. And you all trundle along in this tiny but surprisingly large truck for Italy. There's some empty olive crates in it, and you've got spot to stash your stuff and go from there. The
Charlie, do me a favor. Hand me that flask that's in the canteen pouch on my belt, would you?
And it overhand throws it way too hard.
Thanks. He pops it open, takes a swig, and then whoever's in the passenger seat, he hands it off to him.
And Yvette will just hand it back to the
French dame who's not interested in taking a drink. All right, well, I suppose that's first time for everything.
Yes, I suppose so.
So it takes about a day and a half. I need Yvette. You're the face, the vocalist, the speaker of the group. I need a couple of rolls from you.
All right.
To get through this.
All right. Which would you like? I suppose it would be subterfuge.
Subterfuge would be a great one,
Right.
which is extremely useful. You also have the command voice knack if you wish.
Yes, which I will use if we get into trouble. Same thing with some of my other abilities, but for right now, I'm just going to go with, subterfuge.
Okay.
Does that actually roll? No.
So if you click subterfuge,
Yeah,
and yep, and then it asks you for a modifier, put in 11.
11, okay.
And then click submit.
All right. Got 9 successes.
Wow.
You have no troubles whatsoever trundling through, and you get to the base. It's midday when you arrive, roughly where the base will be. You can see the guards are actually patrolling a little further in. I'll let you all take a moment here and plan. What are you going to do to go in?
So
one of you is much better at tactics.
So, kind of with the extensive military training, kind of grabbing his mind, Charlie will step up and will kind of find a secluded place with which to watch and surveil the area to figure out kind of where access points are, if there seem to be any like weaker guards that seem to really be slacking off, and if he can trace where they are. And so he's sort of watching. Well, it's kind of gone Boston. It's very strange. New York. And he'll keep an eye on the place and try to assess weak points.
I will also use my telluric resonance to see if there's anything, anyone or anything afoot that we should be aware of.
Yeah, that's a good call. Let's see here.
Just to inform Charlie's planning.
Yes.
Oh, and I will use Washington's blessing as from my knack, and kind of drawing back on his extensive study of the Revolutionary War, kind of thinking back on how many lanterns are in the tower. Are they coming by sea or by land or by mountain? And just really dig back into that history there.
Okay.
And what do I expend for a knack?
You spend on your page 2, there's a little box underneath your inspiration.
Done.
And not all of them use inspiration, but
yeah. So if you're using inspiration per the knack's description, then you'll check that. Let me take a look here at Sun Tzu's blessing, which is the official name of the knack you're using.
Sorry. Who would it be? Who would a New Yorker in 1940? Who would be the general that they would look up to? It would probably
it'd be Washington, yeah.
Washington, maybe was the guy who would turn all the Southern Railroad tracks into bow ties.
the
Civil War.
Grant or
Grant's blessing.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Washington or Grant. Those are, or I mean, yeah, those are the two most likely, really. Yeah. This NAT gives no bonus to actually issuing owners. Okay, so basically, you're gonna roll a command roll, and you should use your tactics, your strategy bonus.
Command plus strategy.
So in this case, if you scroll down to your uncommon dice pools, there's one that says tactics.
7. And then that adds the one intuitive facet, right? So it'll be plus 2 successes.
So then you're gonna get your plus 2 successes on that. And as the GM
Storyteller.
or storyteller, I get to hide a opposed roll.
Dun, dun, dun.
So sneaky.
Right? So sneaky.
So sneaky, Gen Giggles.
Target number is 7. And okay. All right. So you have a strategy in place, and you're fairly certain that you're going to be the winner because you sat and you studied these guys all afternoon for like several hours, and you came back and you said, here's how we're going to go through this. Here's how often the watch switches, the height patterns, do. So that's pretty simple and straightforward for you. I would like everybody to roll stealth. So that's dexterity plus stealth. If you have anything in your uncommon dice pools that's triggered by the skill stealth, let me know. I don't remember off the top of my head all of your pools. So
Before we get into doing all those rolls, can I just make a... So we've been traveling for about a day and a half, and a couple people going out to do reconnaissance on the target.
Yep.
Can I use that opportunity to tinker with the truck a little bit?
Yeah, you can.
I've noticed that I've got some demolition charges in my list of gear. How many would you say I've got?
You have 3 that made it through.
Okay. So I would like to rig the truck with one set of demolition charges in a way that is very stable. They won't just go off, with a nudge. But so that I could theoretically set them off remotely at an opportune time, should the need arise. I'd also like to do my best to tweak the truck to be as efficient and fast as possible. And ideally, I want to make sure that it gets whatever local radio stations there are, because you can't go on a day and a half road trip through the Italian countryside without some music. So.
Oh yeah. You've been able to tweak and make some changes over time. You'll need to make a chemistry check. So in your uncommon dice pools, you have a chemistry ability.
Okay.
And you'll need to make a demolitions check.
Okay.
Both in your uncommon dice pools to see how well you did rigging up the truck and making it a little stronger.
So chemistry is 6 successes, it looks like. And demolitions is only 3. Wow.
A success is a success. You did well. And that's all set. What else is everybody else doing during this, especially at least that extra half a day?
Well, sorry, real quick, last thing I want to do is, if possible, I want to make sure that we've got a little compartment that we can stash our guns and everything like that in so that we can not have them just out.
Yep, that was a given. There's a toolbox big enough for all your stuff in the back of the truck. Yvette, what is Yvette doing during this time period?
So I scanned for telluric resonance, got a 4 success on that. And so I was just keeping an eye out for anything that we might need to be aware of.
Uh-huh.
Also, because I don't have stealth, I was going to try and use my stage magic skill to set up some misdirects and things that would make it easier for us to stealth in. Also, basically, effectively make it so I could just sort of appear where I want to be as far as anyone else is concerned.
Yeah, pretty much. You can do that.
Okay, I will roll stage magic. And 2 successes on that.
Okay, you're good. 2 successes works. You've got some stuff set up. We got a couple of good spots in there, that sort of thing. And as far as, what you can sense that's around, there seems to be at least there seems to be 1 or 2 people inside the mountain. You're not quite sure. It's kind of in the mountain itself might be interfering with your senses, but there's at least 1 person inside the mountain who has some special abilities.
All right, gentlemen, we must be aware of this.
So, do we want me to be sneaking in, or do we want me to try to drive this truck in? I mean, a little delivery of wine. What Italian soldier isn't going to want that to come through the door, right?
Before we do that, what is Carson going to do during the little planning stage where everybody's setting stuff up, figuring things out?
I think the first thing that happens is that they just disappear. Sorry, he just disappears for like an hour, and then when he shows up again, he's got a full-on cowboy duster. No word of where that came from. And then he's gonna try to find a high point, a tree or something. He's gonna try and point out sniper vantages on the mountain. They've got to have outcroppings, that sort of thing. He wants to know where that's coming from before they go in.
Yeah, that's a good plan. And that would just be for you. It'll be perception awareness.
Alrighty.
And hang on, that's actually going to be your scout ability. So in your uncommon dice pools, click scout.
Ah, sounds good. Let's see how we do here. All right.
You have noted that there are 2 manned scout sniper positions that are actively used up on the mountainside. So they'll be watching you as you go in.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, so those are the angles to watch out for, but, things go dark. Now I know where they are, so I can get them first, so.
Yep. Okay. So, what is the plan to go in?
So Charlie will sort of draw out in the dirt wherever they're holed up. We'll draw out kind of the perimeter, the fences, and say, all right. So, is there? So there's it's just the mountain. There's a gate or there's a compound around the mountain.
There's a compound and an entrance to the mountain that's kind of partially blocked by but it's fairly large. You're thinking it's 2 or 3 times as large as it should have been, kind of thing. So
okay, so then it would be that he would draw a hit and he would say, all right, well, either we want to kind of hit this main gate with either the wine, and that'll get some of us in, and then they can sneak the rest of us in, or maybe if that doesn't work, we can just because that would kill the person. Maybe we can just drive the olive oil truck. We can just brick on the gas pedal and drive it into a main gate, and so that sort of draws everyone to that gate, and then we can go in through a back alley entrance area.
We've already lost 1 man on this mission. Why should we sacrifice Olive here for the sake of our goals? I mean, sure, obviously if things go south, but let's maybe make that lower down on the list.
Yeah, I figure not for nothing, but we do need to get away afterwards, and if we're dropping a mountain on the place, then it's not like we'll be able to take something from in there.
Plus, I've grown I've grown attached to the old girl, so you know.
It's it is important. Thank you for expressing your needs to me. I wasn't aware that you had become so attached to the truck. So then I say that we just sort of we move in the night, we use the cover of night, and we hit these two gods that I've noticed tend to enjoy the olive oil too much. Not the olive, the other one that's like that with the seeds in the middle. That juice. And so we hit them, and then we go in through the side. I think I can jump up and handle one of them if you can handle like a quiet disposal of the other fella. If one of you kind of turning and looking at our gun bunny.
He's such
Well,
a himbo.
I've been known to tussle or two in my time. I ain't the best at quiet, but I'll see what I can do.
Well, I have set up some distractions around the perimeter of the fence, and with any hope, that should give us some benefit. Perhaps we will not need to disable any guards. And if so, if they catch notice of us, there are some things that I can do to make them not notice us.
No, that's the wrong character.
I didn't wear this very fashionable ascot vest combo to not be seen. Just putting it out there.
This is an amazing tactical choice that you have made. To the tactical ascot it's really innovative. I think in this era. In World War I, you never would have seen this. So in the Great War, I'm sorry,
It does have
in the
a
Great
map
War,
of the local mountain range stitched into the back. Just put it out there.
this is an
yeah.
amazing selection that you've made.
Sorry, I should note that Yvette is wearing a long black cloak that fluttered around her, very picturesquely as she came down.
You are if I okay, never mind. And he's kind of he'll rub this sort of set of 3 parallel scars on his arm real quick, through the kind of black tank top that he's wearing, and we'll say, all right, so we better hunker down. Once nightfall comes, let's set this off.
All right. Should work.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. You
And,
take
know,
a
worst case
brief,
scenario, we're filming a propaganda film.
right? You take a brief nap. There is no there's no campfire or anything. You don't want to give yourselves away. So you're just, you find a way to hide the truck. You get yourselves all set, and now you're going to start heading in. So everybody will need to make a dexterity stealth check.
Again, could I perhaps use stage magic instead?
In this instance, no.
All right. I have no doubt in the stealth.
Just for the record, I did try to convince you guys to let me not use stealth for this role because I'm not good at it.
See? Oh, I thought I clicked stealth. Oh, yes, no modifiers. Hey, I got one.
Hey,
Wait, what? How did I get 4? I've only got 3 dice. How did I get 4 results?
Because 10 is worth 2 successes. And so you have a 10 and 8, a 7. So you
Okay,
you rolled 3
hovering
die.
over it. I'm seeing it.
So
Interesting.
10s trigger re-rolls technically, so you wind up having rolled 4 die instead of 3. So
I see. Okay,
And
So-
then 1 subtracts a success.
got it.
In my mind's eye here, that we're kind of like hitting a back gate while the bad guards are on it. So is that a doable thing with the compound?
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys sneak in. You if you've ever seen the movie FX, it's like a late 80s movie about a stage magic team, like special effects team for movies. He comes up with the wire cutters and he just goes snip, 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 snip. snip, 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 and just rolls back the fence. So it's just like rolled back, and then he rolls it back and ties it closed with zip ties. You've done basically the same thing. You just went up and over a little bit, peeled it back. Everybody crawled through the fence. You peeled it back, and then, well, Mr. Booms has quick wire to tie it shut, and it doesn't look like anything happened. So basically the same thing. You guys just pull off this really nice sneak through. The amount of successes that you have as a pool lets this be like not even leave a trace, regardless of the fact that, you know, Yvette only got 1 versus, you know, 7 from Kristen.
Just Carson in the back sweeping up the footprints. Don't mind him.
Pretty much, yeah. He's definitely the best at the job.
This was my favorite part about being in the Scouts when I was a kid. It was leave no trace, and I think we've done wonderfully here.
I will just say, if you got to come back this way and get out quick, it's a one-way. It's like a one-way valve, you know. So just push your way through. Don't even worry about it.
I will have absolutely no problem doing that. I promise. He says he's leaning over like traps, like coming up down, and he's like, "Don't worry about it, 100%." And so he, you know, shield out and just kind of like looks at the inside of his shield briefly, rubs the shielded arm against his shoulder, and then kind of pushes through the compound towards the entrance to the mountain.
So I've got to ask, because we did get, your character does have a shield. Is it the round one, or is it the traditional, you know, kite style pointy end with a couple of ends up?
It's actually a triangle.
It's a triangle.
It is a triangle. I really like the idea of that, like having a couple edges, and like one of them is sharpened. The others are kind of more blunt, and he tends to keep the sharpened one along his arm. So,
okay.
You ever considered going with more of a discus? It'd be more aerodynamic if you ever needed to throw it.
See, I always preferred hammer toss in high school. I never liked discus. Javelin, mediocre. Shot put, excellent. Loved it, but I figure I can find rocks around here wherever I want if I really need to throw something. But
I'm a fan of the hammer toss myself. I mean, you know, the grenade, that's very similar kind of motion. So
perhaps we should keep our voices down as we sneak through the enemy base.
that is a well thought out plan, Yvette, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. Now, shall we go?
Seems prudent, I suppose. So yeah.
Okay. You managed to sneak up to the big entrance area to the compound, and there are guards in the way. You knew this was coming. What are you going to do about the guards between you and the side door, which is literally right next to this, like, 2 tank wide, 2 tank high, big ass door?
How many guards are there?
Oh, I don't know. 7.
7? Okay, that's a little too many for that.
Nothing gives me more joy in this world than diving directly at multiple people with guns pointed at me. I have to tell you, I'm excellent at it.
Yes, but perhaps I should try something first.
I'm behind that as well.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm all up for a showdown, but that's going to go real loud real quick.
Yeah. What is my charisma dice pool?
Your charisma is 4. You're maxed on charisma at 5.
Okay. Good, I can only get 5 of them. There is There are exactly one too many of them.
Ooh,
All right.
I have Yvette, I have an idea.
Mhm.
Could we listen? Could we like let's find a radio and listen for like maybe a sergeant's voice or whatever, Sargione. You taught me all that Italian. Thank you so much. And we can listen for their voice and then have them like quickly move some of the folks around, and we can play it off as like a funny prank.
Um,
I could just try to draw one of them off. That only
Yeah,
leaves
we
six,
just
which is how many you need for your magics.
yeah,
I would
just
just like to say I find it personally offensive that you suggest we have to go find a radio as if I don't have one with me.
I'm so sorry. I'm not used to traveling with someone so in tune with wires.
so could I perhaps use one of the distractions that I set up earlier to for our stealth
Yeah.
in here to try and draw at least one or two of them off?
Yeah, you can trigger that.
All right, I will do so.
Some
Okay.
soldier somewhere on the base, just rabbits out of his hat constantly.
So a big stage magic flash occurs, and a soft, poof. The typical stage magic, smoke and mirrors stuff happening, and two of the guards walk off together because they're smart enough to go in pairs.
All right. After they're basically out of the way, I will walk up and in perfect unaccented Italian, use my command voice to say, "What are you doing here? Go after them. Go with them."
Okay.
So I believe that spends a inspiration.
It does.
Let's see.
Out of curiosity, I've got 3 dots in linguistics. Is that like a language per dot, or is that just the likelihood that I am going to be able to fluently speak a language?
It's not it's the likelihood that you can translate a language you don't already know. There has never been a set rule for how many languages your character can speak. Typically, we went with if you were an academic, like you actually had points in academics, that doubled the amount of languages you knew. So if you have like 3 linguistics, English and, Latin and, Italian because you've studied classically. And then, you have 3 points in linguistics. Sure, take 3 more. So
Okay.
basically, you're looking at for you, you're looking at like, I don't know,
6 languages.
probably closer to 8, or not, it's 7 or 8.
Okay.
See, I wish we had gone to Burma. You being able to speak Karen, Karenni, and Rohingya, I don't know what it's going to do for us here.
I was actually using a ability called Perfect Translation.
Yes.
So, and I got a 2 on my command roll.
She has a knack which lets her speak any language perfectly.
Mhm.
Period. Doesn't matter. Her linguistics can help her translate written word, but she can speak any language if she's heard it perfectly.
Mhm.
So
As long as the person is actually there, it doesn't work over radio.
no, commands don't. The command voice doesn't work over radio.
No, Perfect Translation doesn't either.
Oh, it
'Cause
doesn't either. I didn't
tapping
remember
into
that.
I'm tapping into their brain to read their surface thoughts and
Yeah,
translate that way.
yeah. It's very fun if you're just like right in front of somebody. Yeah, and you used command voice as well, which they go because you succeeded. They go off.
Gentlemen, inside quickly.
Yes, indeed.
Quick.
Mighty fine piece of work that was.
Open it. Well, can I check the door real quick? I want to make sure that there's no electronic like trips or anything like that. No cameras, nothing.
Nope, nothing on that door that would cause a problem.
Okay, I will open the door and
Okay. Charlie follows him in.
You all have entered the base. I'm going to take a short break right now. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll start Act 2 of our adventure. welcome back, everyone, to All on the Table. Our side quest today is Vigilantes Union Origins. We'll see you all having fun, hopefully, while we get to assault a Italian, technology facility, development base, somewhere in the Alps.
So, all right. So first, let's find these files here. Let's see if we can find a records room. Vat, can you? Have we seen any maps as we've come in, or any like indication? No.
Yeah.
No, but there is a guard station just inside, next, just a little bit past the door.
They don't
It's
happen to have
definitely
any of
like
those.
a guard's room kind of thing.
They don't happen to have any of those like evacuation plan fire drill diagrams posted, do they?
That's a great question. Yeah, actually, they do.
Oh, thank you, God,
I will.
thank you for Italian OSHA. It's wonderful building codes in Italy in this 1930s. What the modern age, I tell you.
So
1940s. I'm sorry.
I will remove that from the wall, if possible.
If I can see any guards and such, even at a distance, I'm going to kind of be casually brain scanning people as I go through.
Okay.
Brain skimming, and just like, looking for thoughts of, I've got to go to the munitions locker, or things like that.
Sure. As a as a freebie in this particular game, because it's a one shot, rather than on long rests, when you spend time between scenes or whatever, because we are doing this in acts and we just completed Act 1, if you have any expended inspiration, you gain it all back instead of just 1 point.
Excellent.
All right. So, as you have the map, it actually does kind of guide everyone, where everything goes. So like the guards, where the stations are. What are you guys going to do now that you know roughly where things are?
There's a guard station nearby. Is that in our way? Like, do we have to go directly past it to get where we're going?
Yeah, that's actually where you guys are right now. So.
And it's bereft of guards at the moment, yes?
Bereft of guards at the moment, yes.
Okay.
So, Charlie, I think your point about finding that records room is probably the best one, because we can destroy those without drawing everybody's attention, unlike the munition storage. So, should we head there first?
I think that would be the best advised plan of attack. Yes.
Good.
Okay.
So I'm sort of what is this like as we're walking through these hallways, and like what is there? Like are we like pressing ourselves up against walls, like shimmying along?
Are you Scooby doing it, or are you like action heroing it? So are you guys going to charge down the hallway as fast as you can?
Oh no.
Roger's gonna saunter and sorry, go ahead. Say again.
I never charge anywhere. I just mosey.
Roger's kind of the same. He's gonna saunter and he's kind of singing like "When the moon hits your eye," like he's like he's not like belting it out, but it's definitely happening as he wanders down the hallway.
Yvette's just walking probably in front of everyone like she owns the place.
You'll see Charlie like take out his shield, and like the muscles get to flaring, and he starts running down the hall, and he looks back at one point after uncomfortably far distance, and it's like, oh. And nobody here is dressed for running down the hall. We have heels, cowboy boots with spurs, I'm assuming, and just maybe like a formal loafer.
Very, very fashionable loafers, yes.
Boat shoes.
I was expecting to take a boat when we jumped, so yeah, that's probably accurate.
I had only seen these kind of shoes before with the people from Long Neck. It's fascinating. I can't wait for them to build the bridge through there.
So, important question from me. Are all of you wearing your flak jackets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Charlie would not be wearing a flak jacket. He's too beefy.
He's wearing 2 flak jackets stitched together.
I don't think Carson is. It just messes with the aesthetic.
Does Carson have armor plating in the duster? Or is it just plain duster?
According to the character sheet, I have no armor whatsoever. So
No, as I said, you guys have have flak jackets and stuff. So if you wanted to take apart the flak jacket while you were traveling, you line the duster. Tell me now.
okay, yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Okay, so that is now an armored piece of clothing. So if you are wearing a flak jacket, you have 4 soak. Basically, you ignore the first 4 of any kind of damage. Carson's duster ignores 2 lethal damage. That is it. You do not ignore bludgeoning or you don't ignore bludgeoning damage at all. Damage stacks weirdly. We'll cover combat when we get to it, but you ignore 4 lethal damage for the 2 and 4 bludgeoning damage for the 2 of you wearing the flak jackets. Carson ignores just 2 lethal damage.
It was worth
Poor
it.
Charlie. Charlie does not have any armor.
I'm so sorry.
Never needed it before. I that's what I have. That's what I have Betsy here for.
That's fine.
Right.
You actually do have a block function with the shield, and it's indestructible. So,
it's legally distinct but very similar to vibranium.
yes.
It's dibranium. It's a dibranium shield. It was given to him by Bobby Scott, famous entrepreneur. Anyways, if we have to move up quickly on a group, do you have the ability to like sheathe me in darkness?
No.
Okay, I just figured you made a flash. Maybe you can make a dock.
All right.
I can shield myself a little bit, but not others. Well, actually, no, that's not necessarily true. I think I can actually. Hold on.
You could shield pretty much anyone with your ability,
But only one person at a time.
but only one person at a time.
I'm just looking for more like make me an amorphous dark blob so I can jump through the air and confuse people.
No,
I think
That's
I can
fine.
a shimmery,
I mean,
shimmery figure.
okay.
He's very masked. Charlie is very masked, but I think like if you have like a latent shimmer, he'd be thinking back on his husband and how much his husband liked that. So like he would be okay with a little shimmer. He would think of he would be thinking of his partner, and he'd look again on the inside of his shield.
It's sort of a blurry outline. You'd be sort of a blurry figure. Yeah.
Oh, what? I've never been blurry before. It's what a new experience for me. So
right.
making our way towards the records room.
Make your way towards the records room. You open the door to the records room. There are 6 people inside.
All right.
well, boo on Giorno, partners.
So we're like looking through a window.
No, there's no window. You open the door, and all of a sudden there's 6 people inside.
Describe these people. Are they soldiers or are they nerds?
That's a great question. There are 3
stuff can be
soldiers
2 things,
and 3 nerds.
All right. So Charlie is immediately shield out, getting ready to just wail on the 3 soldiers.
Okay. So this comes to dexterity. So this is going to be based on your dexterity, and then add your athletics to it to determine who amongst you goes first.
So it was what? Athletics?
So start with your dexterity level.
Okay.
And if two of you have the same dexterity, then it moves to athletics. Okay. All right. So we've got we start with Carson, then Charlie, then Mr. Booms, and then Yvette. And the mooks go last. There are, as I said, 3 mooks. I know, I'm just curious who you're signing at.
I'm signing it myself because I've never heard the word mooks before.
Oh,
Yeah.
Stupid or incompetent person. Got it.
M-O-O-K. Yeah, mook. You're a mook. Don't be a mook. You old
I'm
50s
so-
movies would do it. It's a noir kind of thing.
Mooks, thugs, goons, henchmen, minions.
Scuba the Bob. Got it.
Polkas.
Lucas, yeah.
And I'm using the term mooks very specifically because these are mooks. 3 successes to hit wipes them out. They do not move from that point. So, Carson, what do you do?
Honestly, yeah, I think Carson just kind of saunters into the room cool as can be and, well, howdy, folks. What's going on here? Seems like she got a nice little party going on. And then uses quick draw to just bash the nearest soldier with the butt end of the rifle.
Okay. So in on your case, let's see. Carson here. You'll want to let's see. What is that one? I saw that one earlier. Where
It's
did
under
that go?
the special rules, uncommon dice pools.
Yeah, that's where you want to do it. Yep. So click your rifle butt. And you take him out. Just pop out a rifle from next to no, it just comes off your back and smacks him right in the head with the butt of it. Crumples to the floor.
Not working on helmets, I see.
No, they're all inside. They weren't expecting to need helmets. All right, so now it rolls to Charlie.
All right, so you see facing 5 people. There's five people remaining in the room. So as he rounds the corner, you see this smile wrinkle across his face, and this scar sort of twitches, and so he's got a weird dimple in this side of a chin, and so this offset dimple and this big smile as the shield comes out, and he runs, and he's gonna swing as hard as he can at the first guard, and is proceed to like biff pow kapam everybody else in the room except for one of the scientists, and we'll use the army of one knack diving into the room.
Okay. Army of one. Oh God. Okay.
So I get a dice bonus equal to the amount of enemies I'm facing.
Yeah. So
4.
So it'd be
No, because one of the scientists or one of the guards is already down, and you're
Okay.
leaving one of the scientists
Okay.
alive. That's 4.
so it'd be 4.
Yep.
So then I'll do the big hit and then the subsequent 3 little hits on the remaining guard and 2 scientists.
Okay. So if are you doing shield bash or are you doing throw shield?
Shield bash. I'm sort of going up and then
Okay. So if you click your boxing / shield bash on your uncommon dice pools. Okay. So you successfully take out 2 of the 2 remaining guards, and you hit one of the scientists. He doesn't go down, but you do hit him. Like it's more of you come in, you dive past Carson, who's already smacked one of the guards up. You land on one of the guard right next to that guy, spring off where he's in a flip, feet forward, smack him. Right feet chest first into the next guard, but he slides on the floor more than you expected. So you stumble a little bit and just kind of bump against one of the scientists.
And he'll say, "Oh, arrivederci, Monsignori, scientist."
Okay, now it is Mr. Boom's turn. There are 3 scientists still standing. One is right next to Charlie.
Mr. Booms is gonna like step over to the scientist that's closest to. Is there another exit out of this room, by the way?
Not that you can see.
Okay.
Not according to the map, but the map is emergency routes more than it is regular.
Pretty bare bones, yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna step up to the scientist that's closest to the door and is gonna pull out a cigarette and pop it in his mouth and light it and be like, "You're okay, pal. We like you. So just sit back and watch the fireworks." And basically just like convince him not to move because our Goliath friend has just decided to mop the floor with everybody.
Okay. Manipulation, subterfuge.
All right, that I'm reasonably good at that. Only 2.
You still succeed. The guy is in shock with how quickly everything is going down.
He finds himself with a lit cigarette in his mouth just out of nowhere.
He's just like, huh? He looks like this.
I'm gonna kind of like pat him on the chest, like, "You're okay, pal. We like you." But I'm gonna, if he's got like a clip-on like badge or anything like that, I will take that from him.
Yeah, you can take that from him. He's in too much shock to even notice that you're doing.
Arm around his shoulder and kind of just watching everything that's going on.
All right, and so now it's Yvette's turn.
And she's gonna build on that with the other 2, and basically step out from behind this mob of mostly violent men, in the creepiest way she knows how, with her cloak kind of moving in wind that's not there, and say, "I recommend that you both, that all 3 of you, say no words and just sit down for now." And intimidation.
You're gonna intimidate. Okay. So your intimidation. Give me that roll. Appearance intimidation.
Okay. 5.
They both sit down. The other one is just still too stunned because he's got an American kind of holding them up, going, "We're good friends. You'll be fine." He's got a key, stolen his key card. It's all.
Yeah. And I was gonna sit there and radiate menace at them.
Okay, so you have taken out the 3 mooks in the room. The 3 scientists are all just kind of shocked, and you see about 20 or 30 filing cabinets in the room. Standard, 4 high filing cabinet.
That ain't ideal.
Monsieur Ben, perhaps you should ask our scientist friend what is the most valuable, most interesting pieces of information that we may take them back with us for later reading. And
Yeah.
if he starts talking to them in science, I'm going to be brain skimming to make sure we get accurate information, and also trying to see what he's thinking about hiding.
Okay.
Yeah, so in fluent Italian, even like super technical Italian, Roger is going to start kind of having a very like basically kind of nerding out about like what these guys are doing, like asking questions like, oh, like how do you manage the power to weight ratio, and things like that, like just kind of see how knowledgeable these three in particular are about this whole project.
One of them, the one that Charlie bumped into, completely useless, just keeps things alphabetized and puts them away in the filing cabinets.
Yeah, he's a clerk, it's useful.
It's filing clerks. There's several of them. The two scientists were literally just there dropping off new research papers. So there's a bunch of brand new research, which is top of their mind, right on the table, right on the desk there.
Out of curiosity, what kind of paper is this written on? Because having worked in the military and seeing what old school records used, it was kind of that weird, like waxy paper that if it sits in a file too long, it like a lot of it rubs off, but it's also weirdly flammable.
Yeah, it's the Italian version of that.
Okay. Awesome.
Because it's because they have duplicate and triplicate. Like there's like, oh, here's 3 files. They're all identical. And one is the originals, the second copy, and the triplicate of all the paperwork. Because that's, how the military works. and it's all that carbon copy paper. All of it. The classic carbon sheet slid between, so when they write and then they have to, take the sheets out and put them in another one. Yeah.
Perfect.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. It burns.
Okay. Does it seem like all of the copies are accounted for here, or does it seem like they move one copy off someplace to another site?
They don't move any copies. They have not moved any copies yet.
Okay.
It seems like they're waiting for the second facility to open up so they could send copies there.
Okay. In that case, while everybody else is doing whatever they're going to do, I'm going to walk my guy down the row of filing cabinets, and I'm going to light my own cigarette and drop the cherry, the bud, whatever it's called. I don't smoke. Into each, I'll start at the bottom and drop one in the drawer and close it. Next drawer, and I'll basically kind of do that down the line with him, and just have a casual conversation with him as I do.
You have lit all of the filing cabinets on fire, and you've gone through 2 packs of cigarettes to do this.
Yeah, they're the cheap European kind anyway.
Smoke 10 a day.
Say again?
So that's the 40s. We all smoke 10 a day anyway.
Exactly.
Yvette.
I was just going to say that as he's doing this, again, I'm just making sure he's not thinking, oh, I hope they don't get file 379 or something like that. But also, when he mentions the second facility, I want to know if he knows where that is, because that's valuable information.
The second facility is being dug out on the western side of Italy. So you're up in the eastern, closer to the Aegean Sea side. This is off towards the second facility is closer to France.
Okay. And then the only other thing is I'm going to do another telluric resonance scan, because I just remembered that there are at least 1 or 2 people in here who have telluric resonance. So 2. Okay.
There are 2 that you know that you can tell. No one else within range is triggering you other than your friends.
All right. Well, since this place is going to be on fire very, very soon, or already is, gentlemen, perhaps we should be leaving.
There's something I need to check on real quick first. Does this room have a fire alarm? Because those have popped up in the recent years, and that is going to be a real problem if they come running.
It does have a fire alarm. It does not have a sprinkler system.
Okay, I'll just shoot it out so it doesn't go off.
Oh, it's already started to go off because of all the smoke.
Oh, well.
All right.
However, when you step out the door, people aren't running towards the records room.
So actually, before we step out the door, I'm going to turn to all three of the scientists who are still upright and say, I think that you should leave as fast and as quietly as you can. And if you tell anyone that we were here, I will know.
Intimidation, please. Why don't you put a hex on them?
All right.
If you can put the hex on them, a hex will trigger. So
All
if they
right.
do speak of anything, they'll die.
Nice. Okay. I did not know that I had that ability. So
I would strongly encourage you to our orders, if you recall, were to destroy all evidence and all research. So I would make all of the triggers around this hex quite extensive, because really we should not be letting these gentle folks, these monsignore as they might be, out the door.
if they speak,
As someone who designs weapons myself, you can't really be a gentle person if you're designing stuff like this. So I got no qualms whatsoever about making sure we follow our orders to the T.
as of right now, if they tell anyone we are here, they will die. If you wish to hasten that, I have no problems.
Well, they run out the door because the fire is really spreading. And right about the time one of them get the filing clerk gets to the end of the and starts waving towards the filing room and dies.
Mm-hmm.
Just collapses.
Yep.
You see, it's not a problem.
I have to say I truly appreciate your attention to detail. It is exceptional and incredible. I appreciate you so much, Yvette.
Thank you.
Shall we search out some wonderful munitions here to continue sowing flame where ashes we will reap?
Yes.
Say it's about
Also, there are two gentlemen that our good friend Mr. Carson may wish to use that astounding rifle upon. They are roughly in that direction.
Based on the escape map, that's down into the big garage, to the main garage.
I'm going to make sure I grab that new research paperwork that they had just delivered. If it wasn't already in the filing cabinets, I'm just going to make sure that gets tossed in there as well, by the way. Just to...
Yep. Okay. So, do you wish to split up and have some people go set up the explosives and a couple of them head down to the garage to start the fight, or?
Well, I figure, Boom, you can set the things up on a trigger, right? So they go off once we're gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably best to stick together for the moment. We don't want to go running wild all over the fort and not have somebody realize that it's about to blow up.
I agree with this.
This wow, a lot of different things going on there. Can you, Carson? Where's the munition room? Where are we headed? Where can we find these?
I ain't got the map.
All right, in fact, who's got the map? Who's got the map?
Oh, right.
So we kind of, Charlie will this time learning, start walking that way, to the finely clicking heels of Yvette.
All right. So
Okay. Here you run into Mooks. This place is swarming with people. Most of them are armed, and they're all facing outward, not inward, where there are lots and lots of explosives and bullets.
Yep.
I believe this is a job for your talents, monsieur.
Seems so.
So taking a look at the at how everything is set up, and I'm gonna again invoke the name of Ulysses Grant and my history, and kind of help plan a good stealth strategy for Carson.
Okay.
And I will use my ability to link minds together so that our demolitions expert can inform him quietly and efficiently where best to fire to set all those explosives off.
Ooh, okay.
The first thought is if any one thing in there explodes, the entire mountain's dropping on top of us.
Ah, okay. So that is not the convenient thing that. Never mind.
Just to let you know, that is the munitions inside are probably the equivalent to the entirety of Fort Bragg. An entire American military bases inside the mountain, because putting a munitions pile outside a mountain usually catches the enemy's attention.
Yes.
Good God, this reminds me of my first chemistry set, like being home.
You and I led very different lives, I think.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong about that. My parents, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, please.
My parents encouraged me in my scientific pursuits, so
Did you ever just play with a hoop and a stick? Or like jacks?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, jacks make great shrapnel. Actually, beginning of the war, I actually took some and made it into a bit of an improvised explosive device. It was pretty good. Takes me back.
Oh,
Anyways,
you're a little
twisted.
I'm very happy that that you're on my side. I'm terrified of you.
To be clear, blowing people up was never my thing. Blowing stuff up, sure, why not? I mean, stuff can be replaced. Blowing people up is more of a new, by necessity sort of pastime. Anyways, give me just a moment. I'm going to go start.
I'm highly amused that it is him that you are afraid of. But anyway, slightly offended too, but this is beyond the point. Mr. Carlson, would it be possible for you to perhaps sneak one of the, Monsieur Rothberg's? Sorry, I'm missing names here. Monsieur Ravendale's explosive devices into that large pile of munitions, so you may target it later, and then we continue our journey down to the garage.
Well, never say never, but if there's like, what is that, 30 guys over there? It's going to be mighty tricky to get past them without noticing. Wonder if I could make a big splash somewhere else, draw their attention. I could kind of just bank it over their heads, toss it into the pile.
That might be able
I can always set something up to go off, just FYI.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, not too close to the repository. We don't want to go with it, but
No.
These no.
You will recall the distraction I used earlier when we were sneaking in? I could arrange something like this, especially with Monsieur Raven's help.
You let me know what needs to go boom. I make it happen.
Okay. I'm going to strongly encourage here that we requisition, we borrow. I don't like stealing from people. We'll borrow some of the more powerful pieces and get it out so that we can use it to collapse the chamber that all of these super tanks are in.
Well, from what Monsieur Ravensdale said, my impression is that if this stockpile blows, the whole mountain will come down, including the garage.
Oh, I didn't understand that. Thank you.
No problem.
yeah, so as I see it, it's just a matter of figuring out what we're going to do about these fellas. We want to run in and play.
Monsieur Ravensdale can make the device. I can plant the distraction, and you can put the explosive in the stockpile however you wish.
Okay. You guys have to get through a group of 15 mooks.
Oh, well, that's not nearly as many as I thought.
When I said it's crawling with people, it's crawling with people. There's a ton of them. But, and 3 of them are armed, are manning fire hoses to spray against any fire that might be coming down towards this room.
So this is like we're like looking around a corner at this like embankment, this like defensive embankment. So we're basically like storming a like set of sandbags. Think about
Yeah.
Half-Life here.
Yeah. You're going down a hallway. This hallway has got a couple of barricades, and there's people in it, and they're armed and facing outward.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood the situation. I thought it was like a big room with this set up sort of in the center that once we were in the room, we could, sort of go around the edges. This is a hallway that is literally blocked with 15 people.
The hallway has 15 people in it, but you can see how big the room is at the other end of the hallway. And you're like, that's a lot of bombs.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, call me crazy, but Mr. Boom, you do quite a lot of specialty stuff. Could you whip up some sort of timed micro explosive? Just one shot right through their heads, stick it to the wall, and let it go when it's done?
Sure. Give me a couple minutes.
You'll see. Charlie just starts sharpening the edge of the shield.
Take out 2 flasks, a martini shaker. Start mixing.
And this Molotov cocktail brought to you by our friends over at Jim's Dice. Jim's Dice for your natural ones.
Yeah, so I will. I'll take the time to do that, assuming I'm not being shot at the moment. If I am, I'll stand behind Charlie and then take the time to do that.
I mean, yeah, you're going to stand behind Charlie. Yeah.
Okay.
Most people are usually standing behind Charlie.
All right.
So
Off. All right. So, sure. Let's have you roll a demolitions check for this.
So just so Dana understands the plan, we're basically shooting a explosive into the big pile of bombs that will go off later, but we're not actually going to try and get through these 15 guys. We're going to try and shoot it around them.
That's my idea, yes. But to be clear, I'm not shooting an explosive at a pile of bombs. I want something that'll stick to the wall and blow up later.
Well, yeah.
So basically, you want something that, like a mini rocket-propelled grenade, that is going to zip past them over their heads, over their shoulders, all the way down to the other end of the hallway, into the room with all the explosives, so that it will then go kaboom at a later time, not immediately.
I mean, the smaller you can make it, the better. If we can fire this thing out of a rifle, even better. The less people are going to notice it going past. But, work with the tech you've got.
Have these guys seen us already?
You're not sure.
Is it possible to make something that will fire over their shoulder down the hallway, and then about midway down the hallway detach a secondary explosive that'll land amidst them, and the rest of it will continue on?
I'm gonna need your demolitions check to see if you can do that.
6 successes.
6 successes, and you've got the.
I've got Gadgeteer. I'm happy to drop an inspiration if need be to.
Oh yeah,
say
this
that
will
I've got
take
the
an
stuff for it.
inspiration to
Okay.
make it happen.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, you
So I'm going to say that as part of my gadgeteer, my gadget utility belt, I have a small radio-controlled, like World War I era Red Baron biplane that is going to fly, like zip down the hallway, and then it's going to drop the bomb, like a little mini explosive at like behind them, and then it's going to continue on to the far end of the hallway.
Okay. Off it goes. Roll me a piloting check.
Ooh, I'm good at that. 4 successes.
It gets down the hallway, despite the fact that they've figured out to shoot at it after about, the first 50, first 10 feet. They're like, what the heck is that? Oh, shoot it. It's too late. It's dropped the bomb. And mini explosive number 1 goes off. And let's roll some damage for them. It's my advanced die roller. Yep. And we're going to have that do that much damage. That does not equal 2 successes.
It does not.
No, that should be at least 3.
That's
Well, if you
dear.
subtract 10 from everything else,
No, I rolled 4 die before the 10 got rolled, so I have to roll again. But that's 3 successes. Target number should, I guess I have to put my target number as greater than 6.
Probably.
Figure this working right?
Yeah,
I
it's
know. Sometimes the
44
system's a little weird. But I also need to just roll an extra d10 as it is. Okay, so 3 successes. At 3 successes, the bomb goes off and takes out. The bomb is going to go off and take out all but 3 of the guys. And they're now charging down the hallway towards you because they've realized somebody had to have flown that. So
The little biplane comes in for a very nice and neat, tidy landing in the middle of the room.
Yep.
so Charlie, hearing the boots clattering, will will press himself up against the wall, and as soon as he sees like a couple people around the corner, he'll just have the blunt end of the shield ready to go. Business.
So Carson gets to go first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I suppose because that was an explosion, which means it's very obvious that something is happening. So I think, they're just posted up, and first person who comes around the corner, they've got the rifle out and just fire from the hip. Not two-handing this, absolutely full style, no substance.
Okay. Roll your rifle or your firearms.
Hey.
And just to let you know, with whenever it rolls and it has a green border around the result, that means there's a 10 in there, and that's not being re-rolled. So a lot of our successes have actually been even higher, but it hasn't really mattered at this point.
Yeah, it hasn't really mattered yet, so it will matter here coming up soon, but not in this segment of the show.
All right.
Good to know.
3, you hit the first guy that comes around the corner. He's just like, your angle is such that you shoot him right before the guy following him steps in front of Charlie. And so now it's Charlie's turn, and there's 2 mooks left.
Charlie, instead of bringing the shield up, will step out and will rip open the black tank top he's wearing, revealing just chiseled pecs. And like, again, sorry, lesbians, I don't know what people are attracted to, but the attractive muscles are in the correct places. And he goes, Buongiorno. Omes. Uh, and he will attempt, and he'll do some seductive poses, attempting to
Are you
dissuade
beefcake
them.
posing to the Italian soldiers?
Yes, yeah, I'm
Okay,
trying to
alright,
get them
okay.
to, like, maybe they're into it. And so, like, maybe I'll get, like, maybe we can use style instead of strength.
I'll just put it out there. Roger's a little bit into it, so.
You are definitely going to be rolling appearance style for this.
Okay, I will use my sex symbol instinct as well.
Yes, you will.
All right, so that is 1 because it's reflective, so it's 1 auto success, and then what was it?
Appearance style. So in your case, just 3 dice for appearance.
Come on, Charlie.
You got 2 successes. You got 2 successes on that. So one of them stumbles and falls over. He's getting back up, but he stumbled and fell over. The other guy just the other guy is getting ready to punch you. and now it is Roger's turn, because the beefcake didn't work out exactly how.
Hey, it's good. We failed a roll finally.
And there are 2 of them left that have just.
There's
come
2
around
of
the
them
corner?
left. One is on the floor trying to get up, and the other one's getting ready to clock Charlie.
Hey, now I thought you Italians were supposed to respect beautiful physiques, and I will. You know, Roger is not going to shy away from. He's got a Tommy gun. He's going to go ahead and use it.
Okay.
I think I can just roll. Oh wait, no, hold on. It's right there. SMG. Oof. Just the 1 success.
1 canceled success. 7 and
Oh,
a
gotcha.
1. No successes. You miss. You spray.
Is there a like, how do you use willpower and stuff like that in the system?
Willpower is actually, that's a good question. I haven't used that in forever. Just a second.
In a lot of these kind of D10 systems, willpower can be used to like re-roll a certain number of dice or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah, you can expend some willpower if you want. You've got like 8 of it or 10 of it.
I've got
what
plenty
you're
of
at.
it, yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead. You can choose to re-roll a couple of die with that.
Automatic success, or is that? Am I thinking something else?
No, you're right. It is. It's if you spend willpower, it's automatic success. So if you spend 3
okay.
willpower, you'll take out the guy that's about to clock Charlie.
Sure, why not? Got to protect the big guy.
Okay.
Exactly.
You expend him. He's down. And now it's Yvette's turn.
So there's one guy remaining who's getting up from stumbling, and he's just going to try and punch Charlie, presumably. I think I'm just going to shoot him in the face, but in a creepy way.
Sure. Sure. You just pop out like sheer from beside Charlie and
yeah, just gun from nowhere, shoot him.
The best part is you could even just go like this with your fingers and go bang and shoot him because you're that kind of creepy character.
Yeah. Oh, one that's been canceled. So, but I have faith in Charlie, so I'm not going to.
Well, it comes back around. It's Carson's turn.
Okay.
Because the guy gets up. That's his action, is to stand back up.
Oh, okay. Um, I think Carson's just going to look around and go, "Well, appreciate y'all joining in, but if you don't mind, let's wrap this up real quick."
So yeah.
And one
3.
more quick
You,
little
you
shot.
took him out. All right. And at this point, you hear a super loud rumble happen.
We're going to a rumble. We're going
And
to a rumble.
rolling, and it's not moving very quickly, but rolling past you towards the door, up the ramp and towards the doors, is a really big ass tank.
All right, now I don't much like the look of that.
A big ass tank or a big ass tank?
Big ass tank.
Got it. Just want to make sure. Very important distinction.
These rear ends, how big are they?
Well, considering this thing's a big ass tank, it's about twice the size of a regular tank.
And let me just guess that those telluric vibrations I was sensing earlier are coming from the tank.
One of them's definitely inside, and the other one's sitting on top of it.
Yes. Gentlemen, those people I was telling you about, may I present them?
And there's some mooks that are riding along. They spray and pray at you, but miss. And then the tank blasts through the now open door and starts heading out. So we're going to take a quick break, and we come back. We'll do Act 3, The Chase.
All right.
See y'all in
Thank you,
about
everyone.
10 minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to All on the Table Side Quests, Vigilante Union Origins. We are at the start of we're at the end of the scene, so everybody can refresh their spent inspiration and willpower, because it is a one-shot and we want the action to keep rolling. The tank comes up and it takes a swipe. As it rolls past you, it tries to run you all over. Roll to dodge down the hallway.
Okay.
So each of you roll your dexterity.
Is this an
You all have
athletics
different
or
you
sort of
all
just-
have different difficulties based on your positioning. So
Athletics or dexterity?
strength athletics. So it'd be strength athletics.
Okay. Get a 1.
Oh, that's not good for me.
Oof.
Ooh,
And
okay.
So worrying about the bomb, Charlie will sort of scruff Roger and sort of throw him for. We'll kind of like in like preparation.
Well, Roger's behind you, so you can't really grab him,
Yeah.
unfortunately. What happens?
Much to Roger's chagrin.
Yeah. What happens here is, Roger gets a massive shove against his back. Carson just shoves him hard, causing basically a domino situation, and all three of you, because you're all trying to move forward to jump anyway, it kind of dominoes, and the three of you get stacked, and all of a sudden Carson's not there anymore.
Oh. Damn it, man.
Taking stock of the situation and say, Charlie will say, Carson?
He's not there.
He must have jumped on the tank.
Let us make quickly. Wrong accent. New York, New York. Let's get after him. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's start running. We don't have time.
Let's not let his actions be in vain.
So Charlie is just with the same energy that he brought running down that first hallway all alone. So too is he diving down this hallway. It's like running down 42nd Street, and you see him kind of like his knee sort of wobbles a little bit in its place as he starts to hit like top gear. And he stumbles for a second and then keeps pouring down the hall.
Okay. You get outside. The tank is about 15 yards in front of you. What do you do?
Is that to everyone or?
That's to Charlie.
Okay.
Charlie is just gonna like try to take it up to the maximum gear and just run as fast as he can and jump after.
You're gonna jump? Okay.
Yes. It's gonna
roll some strength athletics.
All right.
Which for you is gosh, you have a specialty. Hang on, let me see what. Don't you have a?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, your acrobatics. You've got the acrobatics special ability, so you just roll your uncommon dice pool for that.
Oh, okay.
So that's your acrobatics, your running, your strength. Yeah. 8. Wow. Okay. 8. You get out the door. The tank is starting to turn, and you're like, I can't. You're like, it's downhill from me. That's perfect. You change your angle and you leap, and you land smack dab on the back of that tank. Wham! Like the thing everybody, there's a couple of mooks on the tank who fall off because the whole thing rocks.
and he's trying to come up with bona nuito, bona nuite. And hauls himself out. Get to the truck.
And so we're gonna cut back to Yvette and Roger and have them. What steps do you take?
Well, I think we're running up the hallway. I don't want to speak for Roger, but I think we're both running up the hallway, but much less fast than Charlie, and probably aiming for the truck. So
we hid the truck off the base, right? So we wouldn't be able to get to it immediately.
The fence is gone. The tank rode through it.
Okay. So I was gonna say, is there a motorcycle in the hangar or in the garage that we could like grab onto just to get to the truck a little bit faster?
Nothing that you can see.
A bicycle. it's
Surprisingly, yes, there are bicycles. There's just so much mechanical junk lying around. You don't know what's all hidden in the back of that garage. But the bikes, those are easy access.
Okay. All right. Grab a bike. I'm gonna make a rocket booster for the bike. No, we'll just get on the bike and we'll ride like hell for Olive.
Sure. All right. And while riding towards, if I'm within 40 meters, I'm going to reach out to that telluric presence. You said there was one on top, mining the like a machine gun or something like that?
There's one on top of it, probably carrying a machine gun. Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm going to use my psychic control power and rewrite that person's memory to think that they're on our side. And they've just basically done the same thing Charlie has and are attempting to take out, their mission is to take out the tank.
Which knack is that one again?
That is psychic control.
Psychic control.
Page 169.
Nice.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Hang on. Okay, so spend an inspiration and a willpower point and roll your command.
Mm-hmm.
And the defender rolls willpower. Okay.
Okay. And I roll command. And I don't get any bonuses. So... Oof. Well, 3. Actually, have 2. Yeah. But I am going to spend some willpower. Do I need to spend that before or after I find out how many successes he gets?
Before.
Before? In that case, I have 1, 2, 3. I have 7 willpower left. I'm going to go ahead and spend, let's say 5 of them.
Oh, jeez. So you spent 6 of your 8 willpower points?
Yeah, I'm down to 2, but yeah, I want this to work.
Okay.
And by the way, while she's doing this, she's actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and say she's ridden. Sort of, the bike falls away as she just rises up in the air, her cloak billowing out behind her, and her hands on her temple just focusing. Wind is starting to blow around her, and she's still moving forward at the same speed, but she's just flying through the air, just focused as hard as you've ever seen her focus.
Okay. So you grabbed hold of that particular person's mind for just an instant. You were just close enough to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to utilize your excess successes, of which you have 4.
All right, that was a little overkill, but I wanted this to work.
They will take out. Charlie's Landing took out 2, and they turn and take out one of the other mooks. That reduces the number of mooks on the side of the on the outside of the tank to 1 remaining mook.
All right.
Now, you two make it to the truck. You're at Olive the truck, and away you go. I'm going to need a drive roll from Roger.
All right, so let's see here. You have got to be kidding me.
Oh, geez.
I'm going to go ahead and spend a couple of willpower to ignore that because that's just ridiculous.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Roll20 has not liked me the last few times I've been a player in it. So
Yeah.
I think it's just sticking with me. I was playing in a Dragon Age game not even 2 weeks ago, where I rolled 9 d6s and got 6 1s, and it's a 3d6 system, so it didn't go well for me.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll spend 2 willpower to get 2. Because there's an extra 1 in there, so I'm going to spend a willpower to negate that one, and then another willpower to succeed.
Yep. Sounds good. Okay. In this instance, you keep moving. You got the truck up, you're running, and you're catching up. You're actually driving faster than the tank. And based on the engines you saw inside, you don't have long to take out this tank. Because when it reaches max speed, there's no way you'll catch up.
Okay.
Your average car in the 40s get 50, maybe 60 miles an hour. A work truck like this, 50 was running good.
Yeah.
That tank you're estimating will probably get closer to 100 based on the size of that turbine. It looks like a jet turbine, but like you can tell it's not actually a jet turbine, but it's massive in the way that jet turbines were originally, their functionality.
So it's a tank with a rocket thruster.
Effectively, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Solid.
Yeah.
I knew I should have put one of those on the bike.
So you're rolling after it. Things are going well. Charlie, it's your turn. Carson's not on the tank. You're pretty sure you see his duster caught in the treads.
Okay. Seeing kind of what I'm up against here. So there's one gentleman standing alone on the side of the tank, and then there's like a person in the entryway.
No, there's 2 guys outside of the tank. One of them just shot an ally. One of his friend. One of the other shot a mook off. And he looks kind of like you. Not quite as beefy, not quite as up there, but definitely a man for all seasons. Kind of the guy that would, have you seen Castle in the Sky? No. So in Castle in the Sky, there are 2 big beefy guys in one scene, and they just start punching each other. And they take turns. And just one steps back, and then he hauls off and hits the other guy who steps back. And it just goes back and forth for like 5 or 6 hits before the rest of the crowd gets involved. That guy and you would be that scene. Just slowly pummeling each other. Eventually one of you would win, but you don't know which one yet.
Okay, so
but there is a mook left. There is one last guy to get rid of before you have to take on him.
All right, so then would he understand? He would probably understand how to destroy a tank's treads, right? He would understand that would be a good thing to do.
Charlie? Yeah. Charlie knows that the best way to take out a tank is to remove the treads.
Okay, so he's gonna sort of like dive over to the edge and try to like drive the shield into
Plan.
into the tread, just kind of like drive one of the sharp edges into the tread and try to like either disrupt the gears that are moving it along, or just kind of like like bend the axle a little bit using his strength as like the leverage.
Okay. Yeah, let's this is going to be a strength might check.
And I'll expend I'll drop 4 willpower on it.
Yeah. You didn't need to expend any willpower on it.
Listen, this is like he's like, this is the most dangerous situation he's ever been in. And so as he dives forward across this armored, like honestly to him it's like this just like horrible pustule on wheels, and he's digging. He's got sort of the arm hatch or the arm strap of this Dravanium shield, and he's dug this into the tread, and he's like holding his arm with his other hand, and he's doing like the world's worst bicep curl, and is just tearing into this, in trying to bend one of the wheels, one of the rotators for the tread completely off, and his chest gets caught on the armor plating of the tank, and you see some like a mixture of sweat and blood starts to drip down his chest.
He successfully tears in half the tread. Not this way, this way. So like this tank has like two sections of tread, because it's so big. It just has basically 2 sets of tread on each side. What would be a regular tank size tread. A whole half of the tread comes off, and parts of gears go flying backwards. Make a drive check, please. Yep.
This is gonna
go. You now have to dodge loose flying debris.
Yeah.
You did it.
Well, no, I didn't roll that.
Oh,
no, not
2.
you. No. That was for Roger.
Sorry.
So, good.
You got it. You succeeded. You're good. You're sitting here driving along, and all of a sudden, a chunk of tread, like just a large couple pieces of it come flying, and you're like, okay, so he's trying to destroy the tread. That explains why he's off to the side. And then all of a sudden, gears and the chunk of tread, the whole tread itself come flying at you. And you hit brakes at the right time, swerve, dive, and at one point you go between the tread as it's spinning, so part of it's on the ground and part of it's in the air, and you dodge through it to get around another gear that's coming on the other side, where you're going to have to, as it goes flying backwards. And so now we move to Roger's turn.
I may add a little bit of flavor. I feel like an old battered cowboy hat splats against your windshield as you're dodging these gears and stuff.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Oh, you're muted, Ben.
Hey, sorry, do you mind grabbing that? It's kind of obscuring my view. Plus, I think Carson's gonna want that back.
But of course, you reach out, grab it, pull it back in.
Okay, so this thing doesn't have any weapons on it other than the bomb that's currently sitting underneath the hood. Are we far enough from the base that now is probably a good time for me to trigger the little Red Baron explosive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that as a basically like I'll pull the detonator out, hit the button, and then toss it out the window behind me, because it's useless at this point. With the tread having been torn off, how is that going to affect this thing's speed?
It slows it down. You're absolutely certain, because there's now instead of having its weight spread across four drive shafts, it's on 3 drive shafts.
Okay.
So it does slow it down. It's not going to be quite slow enough for you to keep up with it the entire time, but yeah, you're looking at maybe a top speed is closer to 80, 85 as opposed to upwards of 100.
I don't need to outrun it forever. I just need to pull up alongside it and then get in front of it. So that's the idea.
Okay.
I'm going to pull up alongside on the side that Charlie is on, and basically, jump onto the top of the cabin. Don't jump in the bed. Top of the cabin. Because, okay. I don't know if that's something that we can do on my turn or if that's something that's going to have to wait.
Well, make a drive check.
Okay. I do not understand how I'm rolling so many dice and getting such low numbers. That is still a success, though.
You still succeeded, but good grief.
It's insane.
We had one of those episodes in Thirsty Sword Lesbians where we could
did.
not roll above like a 5 the entire game. It was just
Everyone got like 6 XP that game because they rolled so low.
yeah.
Random number generators, they can be very, very fickle.
You managed to get alongside of it. You're in the back. You're towards the back half of it, but you're alongside of it.
Okay.
Okay. So now it's Yvette. What's up? What are you gonna do?
I have to activate my psychic synergy so that we can all talk. And I say, the big guy up there, he is on our side now. I have made it so.
Okay.
And just then now everyone can talk, but I assume that takes an action.
Yep, that'll be your action for the turn.
Okay.
And then it is Charlie's turn.
All right. So Charlie, having heard the yell across the speeding everything, will let's see. My shield probably won't return to me if I throw it.
No, it does. You have trick shot. When you
Okay.
throw, you have trick shot.
All right. So this shield is gonna go like looking over. He's gonna go for the jump, and midair you'll see kind of the buckles that are on go. He goes bum, bum, and knocks it free and whips it at the remaining mook.
Okay.
Shield throw. Okay.
Yep. So your acrobatics, running, and shield throw are all the same thing. So that uncommon dice pool roll.
I get another thing. There's a thing that I have with when I start a combat unarmed. I get a number of automatic successes.
Yes.
That would be
Equal to your reflective facet. So 1.
1. So it's 3 successes.
And I believe does he also get a success for my psychic synergy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you get to roll another dice.
Yeah. So roll 1 more d10.
9.
Okay. So you do succeed. You hit that mook down, and crunch. The mook fell off in front of one of the treads. The shield hits the mook in the chest, spins up, and then tings in a really, you're like, physics don't seem to apply here moment. Tings off the side of the turret on the tank and lands back in your hand.
And he snaps the shield back in and gives it a pat, looks at the inside of it again, and kind of feels his shoulder and will brace on top of the truck, using the kind of sharp edge to hook into some of one of the thicker metal bits on top of the truck so that he is balanced.
Okay. And now it is Roger's turn. What's Mr. Booms doing?
Is Charlie still on top of Olive?
Yes, Charlie's
Okay,
on top
perfect.
of Olive.
This is a question I probably should have asked before I came up with this plan. Is it possible to, I guess it's not a trailer hitch type of pickup, is it? It's just like an actual, like the whole thing is one connected piece.
I mean, it's an old T-body, basically.
I'm not familiar with trucks enough to know what that means.
So instead of a unibody like we see everywhere now, there's an literally an I-beam down the middle, an I-beam across, and an I-beam across. And they're typically sitting like, somewhere a little up the middle. So there's a fair chance it's got a hitch attached to the back end of that to that central beam.
Okay. I am going to pull in front of the tank briefly, and then what I want to do is turn to Yvette and say, do me a favor, put that very fashionable heel right here on this pedal right there. Just leave it there for just a moment. And hold this steady. And like put a hand on the wheel, and then he's going to let go of the wheel, turn around, go through the back window, like reach the back window to unhook the back part of the truck where the bomb is attached to the underside of, so that it rolls underneath the tank, or so that it falls underneath the tank, and then he's basically going to turn around and very quickly like veer off to the side so that they diverge paths with the tank.
So as you're driving, you okay. That's a great plan. Roll your drive.
Where it all falls apart.
I know that. I know how that what that tone of voice means. This is a dumb plan, but I guess if you roll high enough, I might let it happen.
That's the GM going, holy shit, that's amazing.
It's still 2 successes, but it's ridiculous. I cannot believe this.
All right, and then I will need you to roll an engineering check.
Okay, that I can do. I mean, I should be able to roll drive too, but apparently I can't. Hey, there we go. Finally.
Okay. You get the truck where you need it. You unhitch it, and the flatbed. Normally the flatbed is welded to the frame, but you figure it was sitting out in the out and about for so long it might be a little rusted. You swing your leg through the back windshield, which you busted out earlier, and kick it really hard, and the whole thing just slides off. And the flatbed, the slats, and the olive tanks, and the toolbox with your two demolition explosives that you haven't used yet go underneath go underneath the tank tread. Which tank tread are you blowing up?
So it's probably on the same side as the one that Charlie damaged previously, because I pulled up alongside so Charlie could jump on, continued forward, drop the payload, like I'm not going to like veer all the way over to the other side of the tank. And then, yeah.
Yep. Okay. It goes boom. It goes really hard boom. It goes boom. It knocks the big guy that was on top of the tank off. He hits his head against the tree. You don't know what's going on there anymore. You lost connection with him, Yvette.
Okay. Well, it's not actually. I don't keep connection with him. I've literally rewritten his memory.
Yeah,
And
no, like
stays that way.
like you can't he's there, but you can't reconnect with him anymore. Like
Okay.
there's that it's no longer a connection that you could make again.
Okay.
And the final piece of tank tread just explodes. That whole side, the tank collapses on it, falls to its side and just kind of screeches to a halt because it just can't go forward anymore. There's nothing supporting the weight. There's not enough support for the weight. And so now you've got you've got some people coming out of the tank.
So Charlie, the hat is in the is in the cab. Can Charlie reach down and grab it?
No, it's a little out of your reach from based on where you're at. It's sitting in the middle of the cab. You're not quite able to grab it.
Damn it. Okay, so Charlie sees all these people coming out and looks down at the hat and thinks to himself, this would be a good time to bebop this cowboy, and will jump onto the tank and start like knocking like as people come up, like trying to like catch people before they get set up to shoot at us.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll your shield bash. You quite easily take out the first 3 mooks that come out, and then you are forced back when a literal spout of flame comes shooting out at your face.
Oh, that's not good. And you'll see the kind of like his hair is usually thickly greased with the pomade of the era, which is surely petroleum product. So he comes out with head on fire for a brief second, and he's like, "Oh no, they did not just do this to me. They did not just do this to Charlie." And so he is fucking pissed and is like burned bald. Has the burn male pattern baldness on the top of his head, and is like, "Oh no!" And looks down at his shield, feels his arm, and is just like, oh. And that'll be the end of my turn.
All right, and now it is Roger's turn again.
Actually, you skipped my turn, I believe.
Oh, I did. You're right. You're up.
Okay. Actually, I was going to put the psychic hand shield around Charlie.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your hair doesn't catch on fire, but you are kind of forced back when all of a sudden a spout of flame shoots up in front of you.
Yeah. And actually, I think I have to roll endurance to see how long that stays up, but it's a while.
Yeah, it'll last a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know with how reckless I'm playing this character, it might not last very long at all.
Well, it's a number of turns based on my skill. I mean, the way we've been rolling, it lasts 1 round, so that was it. Enjoy it.
It does last this first round and keep you from losing your hair.
Yeah.
All right, Roger's turn.
So, I'm assuming I brought Olive to a safe stop.
You did.
Okay. I make sure to put the parking brake on because, safe and proper parking technique is important. And so someone's shooting, is the person that was shooting fire still in the tank or did they exit the tank?
They're in the tank.
I mean, that is just a really bad idea because those like confined spaces, grenades tend to not cooperate with really enclosed spaces like that. So I'm going to into the door of the tank.
Okay, make a strength athletics check.
Yeah. 4 successes.
Yay.
You land the grenade right inside the tank.
Oh, duck. And I do wait. I do wait until the grenade lands before I yell that. I need to roll damage, I think.
You do need to roll damage, but
It's like
I mean,
damage on that is
it's
7.
6 or 7 lethal on a grenade.
Yeah.
I think it's 7 lethal.
That's only 3 successes, sadly.
But one of them's a 10, so you get to re-roll that.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
Yep.
4 successes.
Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder.
You're very welcome.
4 successes. You have, you hear the explosion, but nothing comes out the top of the tank like you would have expected.
I'm gonna take one of my other grenades and check for an expiration date. Huh. That's my turn.
It's Yvette's turn again.
Well, since there are no... Can I just do a quick scan to see if the flame person is alive, or is that my entire action?
You can do a quick check on it. We'll see how high your successes are.
Okay. I believe that is what is it? Or telluric, whatever it is. Awareness. Okay, that's makes sense. Five.
Oh yeah, they're definitely still alive in there.
Okay. In that case, first of all, I relay that information to everyone, and then I put the shield back up on Charlie.
Okay.
Hopefully, it lasts a little longer this time.
Make your roll.
4. So it lasts 4 more rounds. Time.
Excellent. All right. Charlie, it's a good thing that was put back up, because all of the energy from the explosion gets dropped right in front of you. Quite literally pushed out of the top of the tank and explodes right at you.
Okay. So I'm probably thrown back off the tank.
Yeah, you don't take any damage, but you're no longer on the tank.
Okay, so sort of looking around, trying to
As you're a little dazed because that you weren't expecting to have a grenade go off in your face. While that's happening, all of a sudden somebody just basically flies up out of the tank using fire from their hands.
Charlie is just it just falls out of reality and is just sort of sits there almost drooling, and it's and you'll just hear Carson, New York, Carson. Are you if you're still around? And that'll be the end of his turn.
Nobody. You have a 1 mile range on your sniper rifle. I need you to make 2 rolls for me. The first
I was actually going to suggest spending some inspiration points to do some scene editing.
Yeah, let me get a if you're going to be the one to make the successful roll here. Let's see. You will need I will need an endurance roll from you.
Alrighty. Let's see what we got here. That could have been worse. Actually, no, it couldn't have.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
You come to right after a massive explosion. You're just outside of the doors, but you've lost a leg.
Ooh.
That is unpleasant. Okay.
Yeah, you lost a leg there. So you quickly make yourself a tourniquet to cover what's to tighten it off, and you now I need to have you make an awareness roll, please. Let's see, we want to make a perception awareness.
Alrighty. That's much better, yes.
You can see everything that's going on down below, and then as you're sitting up and you somehow manage to hold on to your rifle through all of this. As you're sitting up and hoping your friends will return, but you're not sure if they will, you can see the tank kind of falls on its side, and all of a sudden flames are shooting out of it, and somebody comes rising up. What do you do?
If I may interject,
Yeah, Yvette.
he might be still in the psychic connection with the rest of the group, so he would know what the rest of us are thinking about that guy.
Yeah. It's actually a problem for all of them. He's kind of dangerous.
Yeah. I guess so the scene editing thing in the fourth, I think it's the fifth chapter of the book.
Yep.
You spend inspiration points to just modify things a little bit. So I think there's somehow managed to survive the explosion of the base. There's just like a German dogfighter here. I think he's gonna climb into the plane and head out.
There's a motorcycle outside of the base that you're gonna hop on?
No, like one of the small fighters that shot down our plane yesterday.
No, sorry, that's not possible. There's no runway. There's nothing big enough for a runway here.
Okay.
But I said there were no motorcycles earlier. If you wish to edit that in, you can suddenly create yourself a motorcycle.
Specifically, there were no motorcycles in the garage. There could have been some outside.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, but I feel like, and I'm not an expert here, I don't think you can really ride a motorcycle one-legged.
You can, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Because the only thing you have to do is shift gears with your foot. And it doesn't matter which foot you shift gears with, depending on how the bike is set up. It's typically the right foot, but you can easily declare that as whichever one you want, as speed is controlled by your hands.
Sounds good.
When you grab it, you roll the handlebars to go faster on old school motorcycles.
Alrighty then, yeah, that sounds like a plan. Let's take right off.
Okay.
It's not quite a horse, but it's close.
It's close. Let's have you make a drive check.
This will surely go just fine. Everything has been great today.
So it's not just me. It's just the drive roll that's cursed. Okay.
Drive
Yeah,
doesn't work.
so.
You can't.
I think I need to spend a
you
willpower
get
on
to it.
this.
You
I'm
can't.
sorry.
So you get up on it and you realize you have a great line of sight against the guy, but you can't drive the machine because the gear shifter is on the wrong side. You can't shift it into gear. So you can use your rifle right now if you want. You can shoot the flame guy. You have a 1 mile range. They're not a mile away from you yet.
Yeah. I had a couple other schemes, but I think that's going to be it now because if the motorcycle won't go, there ain't much I can do. Yeah, I guess I'll brace up on the handlebars and use that to steady as best as possible and see what we can do here.
Okay.
What is the penalty for a called shot? Because this guy He's
There's no
flying
penalties.
scared. No?
You get no penalties as long as you're using your sniper rifle within a mile.
Well, all right then.
Like, you have a gadget that was built by Roger, and it is the world's best scope.
All right. Let's see how this goes then.
7. You have 7 successes.
Actually, I think that's technically 6, but still.
Yeah, because there's ones in there.
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah.
A1.
Still, you got high enough. So now you roll your damage.
Wonderful.
And with your sniper rifle, it's 7.
That real quick. That looks like 1.
One success. That's okay. It's 1 lethal. This character has only 1 lethal. Excuse me. So the character now has 1 lethal damage done against him, and he does hit the ground as a bullet blasts right through his shoulder, like. And so you didn't hear a shot. There's no echo still all this time later. He's got a hole in his shoulder from a bullet that came probably from way up by the big entrance. And now it is Charlie's turn.
I used my turn to yell out for Carson.
No, that was all. Carson's actions were all done right up until the moment where you yelled. That's when the shot came through the shoulder, as you stumbled backwards. What are you doing?
Oh,
yeah, yeah. We just did a time wipe and got to see all the stuff that led up to him getting shot in the shoulder after scaring the shit out of you.
So.
Oh my god, it worked.
So right now I'm looking up at this creature that has, or person that has fire pouring out of it. Still,
he's dropped to the ground, but you're not sure how soon fire would come back.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make a trick shot with the shield. To kind of, the flame was coming out of his hands.
Yeah, the flame was coming out of his hands.
I'm gonna try to get one of the hands off with the sharp edge of the shield.
Okay.
So that'll be my call trick shot. Let me see, lower DC on hard throws. Okay.
Yeah, the DC is lowered, and away you go.
And then that's 1 more success because of the sex symbol, obviously.
Yep. So now you got to roll damage with your shield, which is strength +1. And since it's the sharp edge, it's lethal. So you roll 7.
So that'll be. Wait, strength +1. So that'll be 5.
So you rolled how many die?
5.
5. Sorry, yeah. So should have been 6 die should have been rolled. So what was on your 6th die?
I'll reroll.
Does that include the extra dice he gets from me?
No, this is damage. Damage doesn't include your dice.
Okay.
So the extra roll is a 7. The extra roll is
we've been.
So no, you're good. You just dropped this. So that's you said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 successes on him.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, wait. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. He is what's known as crippled in the game. He has a -4 to his action, but it's not his turn yet. It is Roger's turn.
Did my previous grenade not do any damage to him? Was he unhurt by it?
He was unhurt by it, mostly because he of his magical abilities, his special abilities.
Okay. Well, that's mildly aggravating. He's missing one hand, right?
He's lost a hand on his right hand. He's got a hole in his left shoulder. Yeah.
So I've got the ability to basically say that I have something on hand.
Yep.
So it says it has to be something that could conceivably have been stored in the utility belt, but I'm hoping maybe I can expand that out to be like in the truck. Can I say that there is a fire extinguisher, or I have something that is capable of spraying a flame retardant substance?
Yeah, you've got that.
Okay, sweet. In that case, I'm just gonna yank that out of the truck and I'm gonna walk over. I'm not gonna light a cigarette. I'm just gonna put a cigarette in my mouth, but it's unlit, and then I'm gonna start like just casually hosing the guy down with the fire retardant foam or whatever it is.
In different area codes. Area codes.
It is Yvette's turn.
Codes.
I am going to get out of the truck, walk over to him as creepily and powerfully as possible, and just say to him, using intimidation, I could make you never remember how to make the fire again, or I could make it so you don't remember how to stop it. I haven't decided what would be funnier yet. Do you want to surrender now?
Roll your intimidation.
All right. Five, but actually 4.
Yeah, no, you're good. You spit on him, and you just kind of just like lean over and loom, and in a way that shouldn't be possible for somebody of your stature.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just like, he cowers, he's bleeding out, he's nearly done, he just gives up. So you've got, you guys have won, you're done. I'm going to do some GM hand wavy stuff here. Used a little bit of work, and Mr. Booms lives up to his reputation, and the tank is utterly destroyed. All the research is gone. The 2 scientists are definitely never talking about it again and have disappeared into the woods because they saw what happened to the clerk who tried to tell people where you were. And so they're never going to return. And a quick trip and around, and you head back up, and you out of the motor pool up there, you get the motorcycle running, which is good. And you get, because you need the sidecar to get all 4 of you going and out. So because you've picked up Carson, who is alive and well. Well, not exactly well. He lost his tank to the tank, which is where the blood and the duster, and you actually do find his duster along the way, a little shredded, but not totally destroyed.
Hey, nice.
We also need to pick up our new Italian super soldier friend.
You do take the new the other super soldier, the unconscious Italian, with you, and you cruise away, and you head off. Carson navigating for you because he's an expert at navigating by the stars and knows which ways to go. And you get to this little dinky French town in the middle of nowhere on the southern side. And waiting for you there is a sailboat.
I knew there'd be a boat.
There's always a boat. And there's one person in the boat. And just a nice French accent says, "Thank you. The resistance will see you later. We hear the invasions will begin in a year. And off he runs. And you guys have a sailboat, and away you go.
Did you say we had to get a different car?
No, you don't.
Okay.
You've
Okay.
got Olive. You've got the motorcycle with a sidecar.
Oh, that's okay.
And so, and you do have to get a new, you do have to rig up a new flatbed, but that's not a problem for you at all. And away you go. And you guys make it to the boat. The boat isn't super big. So I'll need you to make one last roll here. I need an engineering check from you, please, Ben.
I need to Tetris everything into the little cargo hold.
Yeah. You got it.
5 successes. All right, not too bad.
Not bad at all. You got it. You've run through. You've succeeded. You've got Olive coming home with you. And you arrive back in the States. You do get picked up. The sailboat and everything gets brought on board of one of the American battleships. They just haul it up the side and let it be. When you get back, they lower it down, and you get welcomed by Colonel Trunkworth. And he says, "I'm sorry to hear about the Major. Full debriefing will be in a couple of days. I'll see you all then." At which point he walks away, because Colonel Trunkworth is very quiet and very, very, very sad at times. He sends off a lot of men, some of whom don't come home. The Burma campaign was one of the worst of the war. The greatest losses the Allies faced in almost the entire war happened in Burma. Baker Company doesn't come home. After the war, Able Company joins Charlie Company, your group, and founding the Vigilantes Union. They have decided that their abilities, their skills need to be used to help people regardless. And so Vigilantes Union, local number 1, is founded in Washington, D.C. At which point, you can all tell me a little bit more about what your character does after the war, if you wish. We're going to start with Molly.
Well, Charlie is going to fervently advocate that the final O in Vigilantes Union be in the shape of an olive. So we'll try to expend a significant amount of social capital to get this put through. Other than that, he will return back to New York. In between those lovely Excella Express trips back and forth, only $69.99. Nice. Amtrak, oh hey, how are you? And we'll spend between vigilante stuff with the war and his partner that works in a wood shop in Brooklyn will kind of spend his days helping around the wood shop and doing Charlie things.
Okay. Nobody? What does Carson do after the war?
That's a fair question. I think probably he starts off not really being willing to retire. He was already too old for this, and I mean, whatever. It's just another hunk of flesh. It's not the first thing I've had lopped off, and so I think he probably has I want to say a relatively low-level prosthetic. I know he's part of the special unit, but I don't think he would go for any kind of special treatment. He wouldn't agree to a cyber leg or anything.
Those aren't quite there yet.
Yeah. And I think after a few more years of this, after just being in the war, he just doesn't have quite what it takes. The world isn't really a place for a lone cowboy to run around blowing up dams to save the town anymore. It's just not that kind of a place. So I think he really does end up getting involved with the administrative side of the union, not because he's necessarily good at it, but because he's always wanted to he's seen how folks hurt each other, and he wants to stand there for folks who can't. And apparently, this is how we do it nowadays.
Okay. And Ben, what does Roger do after the war?
Roger decides to turn his efforts to the prosthetics industry because his buddy Carson is minus a leg, and he probably sends Carson a new prosthetic leg every Christmas, because Carson has so steadfastly refused the damn thing. But yeah, that's probably his primary pursuit is not blowing things up anymore.
Okay. And what does Yvette do once France is free and the war is over?
Yvette returns to France and spends some time in Paris until she starts seeing the crime resurge again and that sort of thing. At which point I think she sort of starts taking up being a vigilante again and eventually just becomes a terrifying legend and rumor across the countryside. The sort of a you better be good or Yvette will or the witch of the woods will get you kind of thing. And that I think that legend and rumor still persist to this day.
First international chapter of the Vigilantes Union.
She's more of a Baba Yaga figure, but you know,
that's probably what they call her. But she's why the union starts up over there.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, and that brings us to the close for this session. I would like to thank everybody for joining us and watching. Thank you all for playing with me in this very short, very fast version of the game. I figure if I'd run this as a campaign, it probably would have lasted 4. I probably would have pushed it to run for 4 sessions, about roughly 3 or 4 sessions. But I had a lot of fun. Thank you. I will be starting up in May. You'll actually see me, Jen Giggles, on a separate channel. I'll announce what that channel name is later, and get to see some cool behind the scenes things that's going on with the stuff I'm working on here. Molly, where can we find you?
Oh, well, you can find me. I am a very lucky participant in Complications in Wonderland, which happens every 3rd Saturday here on the Transverse on Twitch. Come check us out. We are still in production. We're going into production of episode 7 this week of the Concord Nilbananji, and there's a wonderful cast. I'm so excited to bring that to you, hopefully on YouTube coming this summer, later this spring. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Molly_P70. Thank you so much.
Nobody? Can we find you anywhere other than here?
Absolutely. I am on Twitter at patch_jacket. And if you have abandoned Twitter, reasonably, I'm also on co-host at nobody. You can also find me on Us Weirdos Have to Stick Together, a weekly podcast where a couple of queer folks talk all about queer representations in cartoons.
And Ben.
Hi, everybody. Ben Ravensdale. You can find me in a couple different places. Here soon, Jen had mentioned that the Vigilantes Union YouTube show, I'll be featured in that as the GM for at least the first little bit. I'm also on a Twitch channel called Stolen Fires every Monday and Thursday, streaming a couple different games, Dragon Age, Dungeons & Dragons, and a Battletech RPG. So yeah, those are the primary ways you can find me. That channel again on Twitch, by the way, is Stolen Fires. So thank you all for joining us.
And Dana, my longtime partner in crime on all things, all things here with All on the Table.
It seems like it's longer than it has been. So you can find me. The big thing I'm doing these days is my show where I'm a lot less creepy, called Drinking with Dana, which streams every other Wednesday. The next episode is on the 3rd, and it's on twitch.tv/Queen of No Pants. And you can catch old episodes on youtube.com/@Queen of No Pants, or just do a search for Drinking with Dana. On there, I do. I call it a drinking and then cooking and then more drinking show, because I teach you how to make a cocktail and then teach you how to make a snack to go with that cocktail. And then, of course, by the time we finish making the snack, we need another cocktail to go with the snack because the first one's drunk. You can also find me on the the upcoming Vigilantes Union show. I can't wait for you all to meet Amber. And let's see, all of the rest. You can find me on Twitter at DT and you can find all of my links at. I'm just gonna spell it out. It's Linktree, but it's linktr.ee/Queen of No Pants.
And once again, thank everybody for being here. You can find us all. Again, it'll be the Transverse YouTube or Transverse Twitch. The next show I know of is Val Unleashed on Monday, right before the Transverse News. And then there's always the Transgender show. And if we're lucky, we'll catch a Builder's Block event coming up, followed by All on the Table next Saturday. And that will be the now I'm brain farting on the name of the show. I'm not even in it.
Artifacts of Romulus next week.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you. Artifacts of Romulus next Saturday, same time. It's 3:00 Eastern, noon Pacific. Bye-bye. Have a good rest of your day.
There you go.